Part 2, God's Good Design versus Transgenderism. The book of Genesis tells us that God created Adam and Eve in his image. Now, some mistakenly say that the image of God is in us, yet the Bible doesn't express it in that way. Male and female were not created and then God added his image. Male and female were distinctively created in God's image and reflect God's image. The belief that man can understand himself specifically regarding sex and gender, apart from the fact that he's an image bearer of God, is a myth. To ignore or make anything else the core of our being is a distortion of what it means to be human. Not only that, it's prideful rebellion against God. Therefore, man, created in the image of God, male and female, should never be treated as something trivial, benign, or inconsequential. Here in Genesis chapter 1, as God was in the process of creating, he would pause and declare that what he made was good. For example, let there be light. And God saw the light was good. God called the dry land earth, and the gathering of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. The earth produced vegetation, plants, and trees, and God saw that it was good. And so on and so on. We see the pattern of creation followed by a declaration that what God made was good. But it wasn't until God created man, male and female, in his image, that God proclaimed things were very good. Genesis chapter 1, verse 31. Now, the word good was not just about how everything looked, but how everything was very good with regards to carrying out God's plan and purpose. He made man with a plan and purpose. Genesis 2:18, God said, "It is not good for man to be alone. I will make him a helper, suitable for him." The woman is suitable. She's not a replica or a copy of Adam. A male and female are uniquely designed so they could be joined together in sexual union. A union that is much more than just a wonderful experience, but it has some wonderful consequences. Because you see, it was God's plan and purpose that they bear children. Animals were never created in God's image. And because of that, human beings can never be considered a higher form of animal life. One cannot attempt to justify human same-sex relationships by referring to unnatural occurrences among animals. We are not animals. And human beings don't take their moral cues from animals. Being made in the image of God differentiates us from everything else that God had created. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 21, it conveys a definite connection between the image of God and the sexual distinction of male and female that reflect the image of God. Quote, "So God created him in his own image. In the image of God, he created him, male and female, he created them," unquote. Now notice how in verse 27, how that verse dispels the whole idea that man evolved. The word created is repeated 3 times. Quote, "So God created man in his own image. In the image of God, he created him. Male and female, he created them," unquote. There are 3 parts to that verse. Part 1, so God created man in his image. Part 2 reverses the order. In the image of God, he created him. And then part 3 adds that the image of God is reflected in a sexual distinction. Quote, "Male and female, he created them," unquote. Just as the image of God is essential to who we are, male and female is essential to who we are. Male and female are not 2 bookends of a spectrum of genders. The fact God created male and female in his image in no way implies, as some in the transgender community say, that God has transgender characteristics. In other words, if male and female reflect the image of God, then God must be both male and female. Well, that's absurd. The categories of male and female were created by God. God is higher and transcends male and female. Now, one can't help but notice when reading the creation passages that there is a reoccurring theme of variation, differences. For example, God separated the light from the darkness, the day from the night, the evening from the morning. God separated the waters and the heavens, the land and the sea. Plants and trees were not the same. They yielded the seed after their kind. They were different. It was the same with the fish, birds, and land animals. They were according to their kind. Then, when God created human beings, he created two kinds, male and female. An individual may alter, by surgical means, parts of their body, or they may use pharmaceuticals to unnaturally suppress a biological process. But they can never change the fact that they are male or female. When man fell into sin, the image of God was distorted but not eradicated. Every person is created in God's image. Regardless of their age, sex, race, their insistence that they identify as a man, woman, or an animal, and whether they are a believer or not, they are made in the image of God. A person's biological sex is not separate from their gender. Their sex reveals their gender and determines their gender identity. For example, only a male can truly be a son and truly become a father. Only a female can truly be a daughter and truly become a mother. Male and female are not two poles at the either end of a gender spectrum, as I said earlier. Human beings are either male or female.